Bulavinaka, everyone. Our Olympians left for Tokyo with the hopes of the nation on their shoulders. Every one of us expected greatness, and our heroes have delivered in spades. This isn't like after Rio in 2016. This time, we don't have one medal, we have two, which means twice the pride and double the happiness. A second gold for our men's sevens and a bronze for our Fijiana, whose powerful play shocked all except those who have watched and supported their steady rise to greatness. Taking gold and bronze against the best in the world is an extraordinary feat in and of itself, but these wins are worth far more than the medal these medals contain. They represent the heart and strength and high aspirations of an entire nation, a passion that extends to every home in Fiji. And our champions deserve everything we can afford to offer. Today, I'm announcing a $1 million package to give back to the Olympic heroes who have given us so much, and to reward them for all their sacrifice and hard work. We don't love rugby just because it lets us forget our troubles. We love it because it inspires us to overcome them. Our first Summer Olympic gold came amid the ruin of Cyclone Winston. It pulled the nation from the depths of despair to joy and celebration, just as we were tending towards the more resilient Fiji that we are today. Now, we face a new adversity. For months, we've been without the comforts of our normal lives as we contend with the deadly Delta variant of COVID-19. 7 minutes at a time, the light of Olympic greatness pierced through that darkness. With every tackle, with every try, we were reminded of what Fijians can achieve when we stand united and sacrifice for each other. And after more than a year cut off from the world, we were reminded of our place in it, a small country capable of giant achievement. On our men's side, Coach Beba was leading the team into his first Olympics. Only one player, Captain Jerry Tuai, was a veteran Olympian. On the eve of competition, the pandemic threw a spanner into the works of our 4 years of preparation. The game's COVID protocols kept the boys from home for 4 months, longer than some had ever been away. By the time the Olympic torch was lit in Tokyo, it was in any nation's goal for the taking. But our boys did not blink in the face of all that uncertainty. They united in pursuit of their common goal, of Fiji's common goal, and they overcame the very best the world could throw at them, knocking off nations with populations 40 times our own, defeating the reigning silver medalist, Great Britain, and taking gold over the legendary All Black Sevens. Today, I'm proud to announce we're awarding $33,000 each to every team member and the team management. Winakawakalevu to our players, Joshua Pakurunambili, Yosef Amasi, Ratumeli Ndernalangi, Asaili Tuibuaka, Semi Randandra, Kaliono Nasoko, Jerry Tuai, Napoleon Mbolada, Wesea Nadungu, Chita Weningolo, Pilimoni Mbutitu, Sireli Mangala, Ameniasi Tuimamba, and to Coach Gareth Beba, and Assistant Coach Brad Harris, and coaches Nathanieli Dhawanimbuka, William Kung, and Sakiu Sanaika, and not forgetting the manager, Johnny Nairua. There is only one person on earth with 2 rugby sevens gold medals. He is a Fijian, and his name is Jerry Tuai. At least I hope he still has 2. I hear he tried to give one of his medals to Coach Beba. That's the humble hero we know and love. After 2 goals, 3 World 7 Series titles, and recognition as the men's seventh player of the decade, another thank you just doesn't feel sufficient. That is why we will be buying Jerry a piece of land and helping fund the construction of a home. We've purchased a residential lot in the much sought after Tairua East subdivision, and we will contribute $33,300 in cost towards the construction of a home whenever Jerry decides to build one. It's the least we can do for the greatest sevens player to ever touch a rugby ball. But I think Jerry would be the first to agree that the story of our Fijiana has been the greatest so far of these Olympic Games. Watching our women compete was an experience I will never forget. But the memory of watching my granddaughter watch our Fijiana make that mark on World Rugby made it much more meaningful. Because I could see the inspiration in their eyes. They knew at that moment that they could achieve anything they set their minds to, that they could be anything they wanted to be. And I'm sure every other girl in Fiji felt that same inspiration. To see Fijian women achieve what our Fijiana achieved is the proudest moment in my lifelong rugby fandom. I'm sure every parent of daughters in Fiji feels the same. For decades, rugby was wrongly seen as a man's game in this country. For decades, the Fijiana have quietly competed in the shadow of the greatest men's side in sevens history. All those backwards notions were undone in 6 of the hardest fought rugby games in Fijian history. Coming off in 8th place finish in Rio, our Fijiana stormed these games, winning upset after upset after upset. They unseated the reigning gold medalist. In the semi-finals, they nearly overcame an 8-member side to make the final. We all saw the same game. The referee missed several calls, including a game-deciding knock-on. Afterwards, it would have been easy for our girls to give in to anger. It would have been easy to decry the unfairness of that match and settle for 4th. Instead, they treated the game for what it was: water under the bridge. They rallied, they battled, and they won their nation the bronze. It has been quite a journey, and it didn't begin in Tokyo. Back in 2017, we established the first women's provincial rugby competition. 2 years later, that competition brought together all 24 provincial teams, and we also began the girls' secondary rugby competition. And that support has paid off. Ahead of the Rio Olympics, there were only 200 registered women rugby players in Fiji. In the lead up to Tokyo, there were more than 1,000. And 13 of those women donned their jerseys, headed to Japan, and prepared to turn world rugby on its head. I'm proud of the support we've given to the development of women's rugby. But support means very little without the fire of competitive spirit. That fire burned in the hearts of Reapi Ulunisau. It burned in the hearts of the veterans, Rusila Nangsau, Ana Maria Rongida, and Raicheli Ndabeua. It burned in the hearts of Vasiti Solikoviti, Seseni Elindono, Viniana Riwai, Lavena Davuru, Ana Naimasi, Aloesi Nakodi, Laisana Likudeva, Roella Rendinia Buni, and Lavinia Chinai. Every player will be granted $11,000 for winning bronze, as will Coach Saisi Fuli, Assistant Coach Timothy Bolabola, Strength and Conditioning Coach Tikiko Namaua, Physio Jennifer Kalik Wainingoro, and Manager Vela Naudukindi. Vinaka to them all. As I reminded our Olympians on the eve of their departure for Tokyo, what matters is not the size of the contender in the fight. It is the size of the fight in the contender. Today, we can proudly proclaim that Fiji's fight is the fiercest in the world. I'm not talking about the fight within our Olympians alone. I mean the fight in all of us, the fight in our hearts, the courage in the bones of every Fijian. The pandemic has pitted us in a fight to save lives. If we heed the lessons of our Olympians, we can win it. We must sacrifice for each other. We must unite towards our common goal of defeating the pandemic, and we will achieve victory ourselves. That victory may not come with a medal, but it will bring the priceless joy of reclaiming the lives we knew. We have the tools. We need to win. We simply need the will. Our goal is to fully vaccinate at least 80% of adults in Fiji by the end of October. Then, and only then, we will plan a proper victory celebration for our rugby heroes and for the rest of our Olympians. So please, let's keep at our life-saving work of protecting Fijians through vaccines. If you've received one dose of a vaccine, come forward for dose number 2. And if you are yet to be vaccinated, please do so. We have enough vaccines in country for everyone who is eligible. So let's all get vaccinated and stay healthy. And we will greet our Olympians together later this year and give them the greeting they deserve. The games are not over. I wish the very best of luck to our Paralympians later this month, Yosef Voreqe and Inosi Bainimarama. They have worked extremely hard and they deserve the backing of the nation. So let's all get behind them. Thank you and God bless you all.